And does having a thread like that running through the record, is that some sort of thing you can hold on to? Perhaps when a song doesn't come as easy as you hope, that you use that as a starting point, perhaps? Those noises?
Well, I think we used the radio thing a little bit later in the composition, but if there are definitely, so I wouldn't say that's true for a full song, but sometimes there are moments in songs, like we had there's this one song on our record, Monkey Riches, there's sort of this like bridge in the middle, or this kind of jam thing. We talked about it being this call and response, like James Brown, almost like funk sort of thing, but it wasn't really sounding very interesting when we were just doing it with our instruments. And in the studio I was trying to figure out, and there was one like radio loop in it already, and I was trying to figure out like how we could achieve that idea a little bit more. And so it was like there was in that moment something like a theme of radio interference or radio sounds, or like the idea of tuning a radio is something that it's like, well, this will allow me to, if I orchestrate that part with this sort of sonic palette or these choices that are connect the dots to other songs on the record, then yeah, it's definitely something to hold on to, and makes the record from start to finish kind of exist in a similar universe, you know, or world or something.
Where did you get these sounds?
There were these things called air check tapes that I guess Dave had some of his brothers, and then I sort of just found a lot of them online. They were things that DJs would do for job auditions, where if they were going to go to, like, wanted to apply at a different radio station or something, they would record themselves on the air. But then, you know, in an hour show, you know, most of it was taken up by music or something, so they would just edit out the music, and you would just hear sort of the song begin, and then it would cut initially to like 3 songs later in their set. You'd hear that song end, and you just hear the announcements and the commercials, and basically the part where like a DJ's kind of skills you would actually hear them. So you can listen to these things for, you know, they're ones that go on for like 20-30 minutes online, and you know, and it just sounds like you're listening to some Music Concrete record or something. And so just listen to them and find moments where, like, in those moments where a DJ kind of made their own edits, sometimes unintentionally, you know, unknowingly on their part, they actually made like something that could be turned into a cool loop or something like that, you know.
There must be an endless database of these things.
I don't know if it's endless, because I definitely listened to a lot of them, and a lot of the same ones kept coming up in my searches. I think there's probably an endless, maybe not endless, but a large supply of them somewhere in the world. I don't know if they're all on YouTube, but there's a lot of them.
But you made up a list of things you could perhaps use, or how did that work?
What do you mean by that? Like
the sounds that you came across.
I don't think I made like notes. If I heard something I liked, I just immediately sampled it, and then I had like a large database of them that, you know, if I needed a sound somewhere here or there, I would sort of search for which one fit in like the song that we were currently working on. So yeah, I guess so.
Well, the two of you have been making music since you were teenagers for a very, very long time. In that period, what has been the longest time you didn't make music together?
It's hard to say. I feel like maybe in college.
Well, we did something every summer.
Yeah. It seems like we've always kind of been doing something since.
Maybe when I went to grad school, maybe like the year I lived in Arizona. Maybe.
Yeah, that could.
But maybe a year tops.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that is because of the distance, not because you didn't want to.
Yeah.
So you can do without each other in that way, it seems.
I mean, it seems like once we've gotten into a way of life that's what we like to do, and it's like good to
kind of
keep
how
busy.
We hang out.
Yeah.
We communicate well.
Doing that, so.
Within the band, who contacted who first about making a new Animal Collective record?
I think we just never really stopped talking about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like.
I mean, it was probably everyone was CC'd on it, so you know, on the email. But.
I think, you know, we're always, one of us is kind of usually hanging out with somebody else in the group often enough. I mean, I guess we don't see Noah as much because he's kind of overseas from where Josh and Brian and I are, but we hang out and talk quite a bit, and I think it's just being somewhere and just one of us talking to the other about, doing this, and then somebody else talking to somebody else, and it just happens, you know.
A lot of emails that are written that start off, "Hey dudes," and like all 4 of us are on it. You know?
Okay, more concrete question then. When were the 4 of you together in the same room for the first time, really knowing we are working on a new record now?
It's like January 1st or 2nd, I think it was, of 2011, like right after, I think Noah and his family came over from Portugal to Baltimore, like it might have been January 1st or so, I can't remember, but basically New Year's of 2011, like the start of that year was kind of the start of the songwriting sessions for Centipede Hz.